What's happening, you savages? We're back. 2 more days left in 2025, and we're going out with a bang. Listen, new year, same me. That's my slogan for 2026. I'm going to say it again. New year, same me. And I advise you to have the exact same attitude. Look, if what you're doing is working, if you're putting the work in every day, if you're grinding, if you're dedicated to your goal, there's no reason you have to enter the new year with a new you. Keep doing that shit. Keep doing what works. Keep repeating the same formula. We got an espresso and a pair of nuts, and I'm ready to do the craziest live stream to end 2025. So we're going to kick things off with the top story here, as you guys could see from the title and thumbnail. Joe Rogan finally making a comment on the ever elusive, ever infamous broadcaster Nick Fuentes. This comes on the podcast that he did with Shane Gillis, one of the latest episodes of the JRE, where Shane Gillis jokingly brought up Nick Fuentes as a potential candidate for president in the future. And this has, of course, been something that a lot of people have kind of joked about, but I feel like it's crossing over from a joke to maybe an actual observation of where this guy could be headed in a couple of years. Let's go ahead and listen to Joe's comment. We're going to break it down, and then I'm going to weigh in on my thoughts as well.
Two for war.
You'd think we'd have more presidents. The Catholics.
Yeah, they only had one.
Biden,
Right?
too.
Oh, Biden's Catholic.
We got Biden.
Allegedly.
True. We only got one. He got shot.
Isn't Trump supposedly a Catholic too? That's at least what he tries to say.
You'd think we'd have more presidents. The Catholics.
Yeah, they only had one.
Biden,
Right?
too.
Oh, Biden's Catholic.
We got Biden.
Allegedly.
True. We only got one. He got shot. And then Biden was doing auto sign. Give us a good one.
Yeah. You got anybody in mind?
Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes? He could probably win in a few years.
Hold on, let's talk.
Listen, he couldn't have existed before, right? 10, 20 years ago, couldn't have existed. Now, super popular. What's 20 years from now look like? You know, maybe someone like that can win.
Well, we'll see.
I gotta pee so bad. We gotta wrap this up anyway.
I'm
sorry,
down.
4:18.
We got that one at the buzzer.
Yeah. Well, listen, I will say this about it. It's fascinating to watch that there's like a whole group of people that feel very unrepresented in the world. And especially like young men. And here you got this young guy with a very high verbal IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And he also does a lot of shit posting, a lot of talking shit, a lot of trolling, says women shouldn't be allowed to vote, says wild shit. And that Piers Morgan thing is like, bro, that was like an expert sparring with someone who thought they were an expert.
Sure.
Like they're playing two totally
I
different
agree.
games.
And it's also the thing that people try to get Fuentes on is that he's still funny as fuck.
It's funny.
So that's where you're in a lot of trouble.
When he hits him, do you think you made jokes about the Holocaust? He goes, too soon? Like, dude. And you could see
He's wild.
You could see Piers
my-
going, oh fuck.
Bro, when he was like, me mom died. I was like, holy shit.
Bro, he got hit. He got hit with a missile on that one. Too soon? Too soon was like, oh my god.
I don't know.
Okay, so Joe Rogan giving major props to Nick Fuentes, not only calling him a potential future presidential candidate, but also giving props on his Piers Morgan live appearance, his Piers Morgan Uncensored guest spot. So a couple things to break down here. The first thing is I did see the interview as well that Nick Fuentes did on Piers Morgan, and I feel like Rogan's assessment of this interview is really quite accurate. This was a very obvious intent by Piers Morgan to sort of get a gotcha moment from Nick Fuentes, or at least have him on the show and try to paint him as a guy who would be easily put into verbal submission, a guy who didn't really know what he was talking about and who was really a non-issue to such a seasoned broadcaster such as Piers Morgan. But what Joe said is completely right. Piers kind of walked himself into a trap because he assumed that Nick Fuentes wasn't going to be able to beat him in a sort of match of verbal judo. And this isn't really the guy that I would go up against when it comes to talking, when it comes to debating, when it comes to language. This is a dude who's going to put you in your place pretty quickly if you're coming ill-equipped for the battle. So I feel like Piers Morgan went on there and he kind of tried to make this gotcha piece, and he tried to get Nick Fuentes in a corner, and really this didn't work. And ultimately what Piers Morgan did, and I've been noticing it when I hear people talk about this now, is he really catapulted Nick to the next level of stardom. That's exactly what people have been doing. You know, it's been very clear that a guy like Nick Fuentes certainly has an audience. He certainly has people who are watching his show. But I feel like when you put somebody on a platform and you try to have a gotcha moment and it backfires, not only is it going to backfire and you don't get what you want, but this is going to push that person to the next level of fame, the next level of superstardom, because it's yet another yet another test that they've passed when it comes to their audience. You know, this dude's audience is sitting watching him going on these shows. He can't get owned by any of these mainstream establishment media people. Nick has to go on and win. So when he went on Piers Morgan and won, that I think was a big push in, you know, him becoming even more popular and more untouchable. The next thing that Rogan commented on is the fact that Fuentes could potentially become president one day based on the way things are going. And this is something that I've been contemplating about for the last little while. You know, the thing with a dude like Nick Fuentes and people like him is that we've sort of come up with this new subculture of influencers. I want to call them not red pill influencers. I want to call them red button influencers. So what I mean when I say red button influencer, this is a term that I'm basically coming up with now. There's certain red buttons when it comes to things that you can and can't say, especially in America. There's certain words you can't say. You know, people say you can't joke about the Holocaust, you can't say this about women, you can't say the N-word, you can't say these things about specific races. There's red button issues, especially in the USA, that you're not supposed to talk about or even brush against whatsoever. And now we've come up with this new subcategory of influencers which want to touch all those red buttons. So basically what we've told people is, you can't talk about these things, but if you do, you're going to become massively popular because everybody else is too afraid to go there. So the way I see it is very simple. Nick Fuentes walks into a room full of red buttons, and there's 100 people standing there looking at the red buttons who may feel what the red button actually has behind it, who may agree with it, but they don't want to press that button. And Fuentes has realized that if he just goes in the room and presses all the buttons every single day on repeat, that's going to be the way to get attention. That's going to be the way to get popularity and make a fuck ton of cash. So that's what I call a red button influencer. He comes in, he's pressing that button every day. And now there's a distinction between the people who are willing to press that button and the people who are not. My only question is, where does the longevity piece of a career like this come in? Because when you figured out that you can get attention by saying what people don't want you to say, by saying provocative things, basically just for the sake of saying them, yes, that can get you a lot of short-term attention, but if you're actually trying to transition that into a career in politics or a career in business or an actual career outside of just that, I don't know where that leaves you in terms of actually transitioning into those spaces. That being said, we're in a completely different era now. We're in a completely different time. And part of me used to question this. You know, I felt like a lot of it, when people would say there's white supremacists in government, or there's, you know, racists in government, or there's sexists in government, whatever the case may be, I thought a lot of the time it was bullshit, because a lot of these attacks, especially against the Trump administration, were fabricated when he first won in 2016. There was a lot of people being called racist, people being called this and that, with not a whole lot to back it up. Nowadays, however, in this new administration, I actually do think there's a lot of people who are potentially white supremacists, who are racist, who are whatever you might want to call them under this certain umbrella, who actually have found a way to make their way into government and climb the corporate ladder in business as well. So this is not something that apparently is holding people back anymore in America. You know, it used to be if you were saying anti-Semitic things or racist, and again, I'm not the guy to cry racism, I'm not the guy to cry anti-Semitism and point the finger at people. But it used to be if you were saying things of a certain type or, you know, alluding to things or using certain language, you wouldn't be able to work. You wouldn't be able to climb the ladder in politics. Evidently, this has changed now. And the other thing that Rogan mentioned, just to wrap it up, is true too. There's a huge segment of people who feel very disenfranchised with what they're told they're supposed to believe and how they're supposed to think, and they're not relating to the powers that be anymore. They're not relating to the people who tell you not to push the red button because they feel exactly the way that red button is making them feel. They feel what's behind the red button. So they're going to keep pushing that button. So all these people, they're disenfranchised, they're confused, they're feeling cast out, they're feeling not represented. Of course they're going to gravitate to a guy like Fuentes who's going to press the red button. So ultimately, that's my take on this. His rise right now makes perfect sense. And look, all these sort of counterculture figures, they're not counterculture anymore. They're becoming the mainstream. We're ending 2025 right now with Candace Owens as the #1 podcaster in the world, surpassing even Joe Rogan. When I found that out, that Candace Owens was #1, I have to admit, I was shocked. I wasn't overly shocked because I know she's very popular, but #1 in the world? I couldn't believe that. I mean, that was insane. And this is a woman who used to be seen as a fringe right-wing conspiracy theorist. My question for people is this: how big does something have to get before it's no longer fringe? If you have tens of millions of listeners every single episode, how fringe are you? How underground are you? And how exactly is that not considered being mainstream media? I mean, Candace Owens, at this point, is mainstream media. And Nick Fuentes is the same. Mainstream media, getting tons of coverage. So it makes sense why this is happening. This is people who have no other place to hear their voices represented in the mainstream. And also these guys too, we have to keep this in mind with figures like Fuentes or Owens. They have the same professionalism and quality as the mainstream media. They have the broadcasting prowess, they have the verbal IQ, they have the money to put into their show to have it be visually pleasing, they have good audio, they have nice sets, HD cameras. So I think when we're really looking at everything down the barrel of the future, is the way I'm going to say it. When we're looking down the barrel of the future of the way things are going to be, the way things are going to become, I would only see things getting more liberal in terms of what you can get away with, what you can say and do, because people have, the ability to make their own shows and listen to what they like. But I also see these types of figures, people who have the money and the ability and the professionalism to make shows just from their home. I think this is the era where those people are going to keep skyrocketing. And I would say in the next couple of years, shows like Owens, shows like Fuentes, all these different shows, these shows are going to be the #1 shows in the world all across the board. It's not going to be one person. It's not going to be a couple of shows. It's going to be all across the board. These independent shows are going to be blowing up. And I'm very curious to see what's going to be happening with all of this come 2026. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments. I don't know if we're going to see a Nick Fuentes for president. I don't know about that, but I'm at the point now where almost nothing surprises me. Almost not a single thing is going to surprise me anymore. So I could definitely see something like this occurring. Hopping over to our next story. Now, this is something that really almost pains me to cover because it's just so tragic and so sad, but it's also not that unique of a story when you really look at the career trajectory of a lot of people in Hollywood, especially child stars. So former child star Taylor Chase, who you may know from the Nickelodeon show Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. He was one of the side characters in the show, bringing joy to millions all across the globe. He has been found homeless and living in destitute in California after a viral TikTok post surfaced in which you could see him appearing like this. I want to make sure you guys get a good view of this. So this is Taylor Chase living on the streets, and this is what he looked like earlier in his career playing on Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. Now, this story absolutely blew up because of the heartbreaking condition that Taylor was shown in. And I'm not going to show the actual clips of him when he's on the side of the street and when he's like that, because I actually think these clips are in quite poor taste. A lot of people found out where he is. A lot of people decided to go and shove cameras in his face. And ultimately, this is something that I don't think is helpful for a guy in this position. So I don't want to perpetuate playing these clips. But these videos got so viral that his former co-star on Ned's Declassified actually decided to jump in and help him. Daniel Curtis Lee, who was known as playing Cookie on the show, he actually saw the clip and he decided to jump in and try to get Taylor some help. So we're going to go ahead and watch some video on this. Let's go ahead and roll the clip now. I just want to make sure, yeah, this is the right clip. So Daniel Curtis Lee actually arranged for Taylor to be in a hotel so he could actually have a place to live and a place to be safe. And evidently, Taylor Chase destroyed the motel room and completely trashed everything in sight. Let's take a listen to this part of the story.
Happy holidays, everyone. I hope you're somewhere nice and warm with your families. Unfortunately, Tyler Chase is not. And this is the case for millions of other Americans. All right, the hotel situation. We got Tyler shelter. Hooray. Everyone's happy. Tyler's happy. Not the case, guys. We got him into the hotel, and just that night, I receive a call from management. They're upset. The door is left open. Why is there a microwave in the tub? The refrigerator's turned over. I just feel so devastated. I'm at a loss. And his family told me that they had tried the hotel thing before and it didn't work. And of course, Dan, why did you assume that you were going to be able to, just fix this situation? I don't even think we should be at this point, guys. 3 nights ago, when we tried to get him to the hospital, the authorities should have. I don't understand how a system could be in place, right? We have all these social systems where help should be provided for these people facing mental health issues, drug abuse issues, right? Taxpayers vote on this stuff all the time. 5150 exists. A third party should be able to get someone into treatment, get them a psychological evaluation to figure out what is going on and allow them to detox. I'm just crushed that these systems are not working effectively. They're not quality systems. LA, we got to do better. Well, Riverside County at this point, and California, there's the CARE Act. Let's make sure that it is functioning. There's no reason that his family should not be able to get him help. I'm really feeling devastated here. I do want to send a thank you to people that have been supporting, the people on the ground. Blaze Pizza has given Tyler free pizzas until the 31st. Now I gotta say, guys, do not just take the plug and abandon my boy. The 31st, all right, that's coming up soon, right? He'll be out of food soon. Please stay with him. Provide him a safe haven there at that facility. He loves your pizza. Guys, I think that it is time to put in a call for 5150, but I also need insight from you all. Do you think that's fair to have a third party call and get someone entry into a facility when you know they need the treatment and they're gravely mentally disabled? We have to do something before it's too late for Tyler. We have to do something, guys. And I just want a little insight. Anyone who has battled with drug addiction in the past and anyone who's battled with mental health problems, what would your perspective be? Or if you've actually experienced 5150, in a way that was helpful or not, let me know, because I think that's the call that needs to happen. All right.
Wow, super moving message coming from Daniel Curtis Lee speaking on his friend Taylor Chase. And this is really good to see, man, because you can actually feel the passion through the video. And that's, to me, one of the most frustrating things about a situation like this is seeing the people around the individual affected, how they're actually affected too, and the way that this has a ripple effect across the friends and family. And it is a really frustrating situation. Look, from the limited knowledge that I have about these systems, especially in Canada and the USA, there is not a whole lot of resources for people in this mental state. When somebody is severely addicted on the streets, when somebody is in destitute like this, living in poverty, there's actually more resources, and it's going to sound off when I say this, but it's true. There's more resources to actually keep that person in that position than there are to actually lift them out of it. You know, in Canada, there's tons of resources for people to have safe injection sites. They have plenty of tents handing out safe needles, even handing out drugs, fentanyl in certain places. Look it up in Vancouver. They have lots of resources to keep you on the street, but they don't have any resources to get you off of the street. And on top of that, most of these homelessness places and these, foundations and these systems in place to keep people off the street, the only reason they're making money and the people at the head of these organizations are taking home tons of cash is because these people stay on the street. There is profit in keeping these people homeless and keeping these people addicted. So I think what we're seeing now is the results of this. There's not a whole lot of things in place, no matter what you're doing, to help these people. And these people are often left as a lost cause. Now, Taylor Chase was checked into the hotel, and I'm trying to keep track of all these details because there's so many different details happening in this story, and it's moving quite fast. But I think we do have a video of Taylor Chase actually destroying the hotel room. So let me see what video we have. So this was Taylor Chase being let into the hotel room by his former co-star.
But that's the number that's like, it's not supposed to.
Open. There we go. All right, we're in here, man. Can you work with it? Yeah.
But you can see he's just not really registering anything. It's like he doesn't even know what's
In
happening.
case it gets wet out here, okay? You got a bathroom in here if you need as well. And this was the only one that was local and open, okay?
Okay, this is so much.
Yeah, man. So you got the key, right? Are you gonna remember to keep the key?
Yes.
Okay.
God bless you, Daniel.
All right, man. Do you want TV on or you're fine?
I'm okay for right now. I'm gonna check out the room.
Yeah. Check everything out. Make sure it's all good for you. And brother, I'm gonna come back and holler at you, man, and we'll talk more about trying to get that situation squared away so we can do the rehab or whatever we need to. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Give me a hug, man. Love you, brother.
Aw.
Love you, man.
too.
So happy to see you, dude.
Thank you. I'm so happy to see you as well.
Man, this is just heartbreaking. Seriously, this is just so heartbreaking. Now, some of the other updates that we've received are that Taylor Chase has been living in addiction on the streets for quite some time now, but also that everything that people have tried has not worked. So his family has said, look, people are trying to go and bring him money because they found out where he is. Do not give him money, is what the parents have said, because he's going to go spend it on drugs. This is an individual who is not capable of caring for himself, and that is the hardest part about this situation. What can a person do when someone can't even look out for themselves as a grown adult? They need to be checked in somewhere. They need to be in a facility. And it's not an insult, it's just from a safety standpoint, this is what needs to happen. So maybe the video got removed of him actually destroying the hotel. I did have it saved here, but the video is not appearing now. So maybe that got taken down. So Daniel Curtis Lee basically on his last leg. But positive news evidently coming here as well. The new update, the latest update in this story is that Taylor Chase has actually been institutionalized, at least for a short-term period of time, to get some help in a short-term treatment facility. So this is the silver lining in this story, and this is coming out just yesterday. Let's take a listen.
Awesome news coming out of the Tyler Chase universe. All right, this is the positive power of social media. Reports are coming out that Riverside authorities were finally able to get Tyler into a short-term treatment facility after all the attention and support from all of you guys. All right, we've done a great job of getting Tyler to the next step in his mental health and recovery journey by shedding light on, things we as a society, unfortunately, find comfort in hiding. I'm praying that this finally works, because this news kind of coming from the same guy who said like 5 days ago that he was able to get Tyler Chase into a hospital, told me and his dad that he did it and it was unsuccessful, turned out the next day. But really hoping this one sticks this time. Now, I was able to speak with Tyler Christmas Day before he went in. Shout out to Jake for knowing who to call. Although it's kind of weird, he's been perpetuating this false TMZ headline saying that the hotel room was trashed on his Instagram. He knows I never said trashed, and that was the headline they ran with, but he posted it to his... Anyway, don't worry.
Well, hang on a second. He did say trashed. He said that there was a microwave in the bathtub. I mean, let's not backpedal now, Daniel. You kind of said the hotel was trashed. I mean, not to be disrespectful, but I think that narrative came from what you said, not from anything else.
He knows I never said trashed, and that was the headline they ran with when he posted it to his. Anyway, don't worry.
No.
He says nicer things in this clip.
And a lot of people want to see you safe, man. Yo, you're supported. Yeah. Thank you. That helps, man. And if he can just stay away from whatever people are trying to give him, you know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my guy. But continue to urge him for long-term care, man, treatment.
So there we have it, guys. Tyler Chase has officially been treated at a hospital before entering rehab. And this is really good to see. Look, at the end of the day, I'm seeing in the chat, you know, children are not treated properly in that industry. It is so true. And honestly, I'm more surprised that we don't see even more child stars in the position of a Tyler Chase. This is a business that chews people up and spits them out. We know the treatment behind the scenes. We know the stories with the guys like Dan Schneider. We know the stories about the evil forces behind companies like Nickelodeon, like Disney, and I'm going to name them by name. I mean, frankly, I don't care if I never work with them because I don't want to work with them because they're evil companies. So it's very simple. This is a machine that has the impact like this on so many people, that leaves so many people with nothing at the end of it when it's chewed them up and spat them out and used them up for everything it thinks they're worth. This industry is quite evil. So I think seeing the real life effects of this is actually important. It's a shame that this individual has to go through this sort of trial by fire in front of the world. But the beautiful thing about it, and the silver lining, is the fact that his friends are there for him. The fact that people care about him. You know, the fact that his co-star Daniel Curtis-Lee saw these videos circulating during the holidays and decided to step up means so much. Because he saw his friend on the ground being interviewed by clout-chasing people, people who are just trying to capitalize off him, people who just want to take his money. You know, I was really disgusted by those interviews because you're finding a guy basically in the gutter, and you're going to that gutter to get likes and clicks. You're not helping him. You're not doing anything for him. The people who went to find Tyler Chase to interview him should be ashamed of themselves. To go and stick a camera in that guy's face like that and to not help him. For your likes and your content and your views, sickening behavior. Absolutely sickening. So Daniel Curtis-Lee saw this and he said, look, I'm not going to take this. We're not going to let our friend rot like this during the holidays. We're not just going to let him sit here and fade away. And that to me is the beautiful thing about this. And I've always said it. If I had friends who were homeless, or if a family member was homeless, it really would never happen because I would never let them be homeless. I would never let somebody I care about be addicted like that. I would force them. I would pick them up, put them in the car, whatever. I would force them. So it's a terrible thing, but really glad to see that he's taking the right steps, and hopefully this can end up being a positive story of recovery. And we've seen people go through it. We've seen Justin Bieber. We've seen some people who kind of get through it, but they're still obviously struggling. So it's a terrible thing, man. Yeah, it's horrible the way they put it online, Gwyneth, in the chat. It's terrible. It's like vultures. They literally figure out the location that he's at. So it's terrible. Hopping over to another story here, and I'm going to try not to cringe while I read this story, but this is the story that we have to work with. Live streamer Kai Cenat has continued his crash out across social media as he seems to be having some sort of existential crisis or crisis with life. Kai has been doing a lot of complaining lately, talking about how hard his life is, talking about his mental health, and how challenging it is to make tens of millions of dollars off being a live streamer. Something that, I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. What a hard life. But the latest news with Kai Cenat is he's announced that he is now newly single from his relationship with his girlfriend, posting, "I'm single. I will never be in another relationship again." Oh, Kai, the amount of times I've heard that or said that, I can't even count it on one hand. Now, Kai is being eaten up on social media because yet again, he seems to be complaining about life and the way things are going, even though he has it better than 99% of the people watching him. Now, his ex-girlfriend put up this post in response to, I guess, some of the internet backlash that has been coming her way. She says, "I left, now you want to get on the internet and rush to paint a false narrative about me off a fake Twitter post is insane. I've never cheated on him and you know that. I've never dealt with that man. Play that sympathetic role somewhere else, please." Now, the main rumor behind this breakup is that let me do that again because this is a recording. Now, the main rumor around this breakup is that Kai's ex-girlfriend, or current ex-girlfriend, cheated on him with NBA YoungBoy. And this rumor spread everywhere and is now apparently the reason for Kai Cenat breaking up. Now, I'm not going to be too hard on Kai Cenat, and I will say this. People like to break balls. People like to sort of make fun of anybody who's being vulnerable. I don't really care how much success you have in life. I don't care how much money you have or how much opportunity or I'm even going to say perceived opportunity from the people out in the world because they don't know your situation. It doesn't matter how good it's going. You can still be going through it. So I think the fact that people are laughing at you when you're going through something is actually a positive thing. People have such a positive perception of your life. They see you as such a winner that when you tell them, "Hey, I'm actually having a hard time right now," people don't even take you seriously. You've won so much that people don't even think you're capable of being unhappy. They don't even think you're capable of being depressed. On one hand, that's actually a huge compliment. That means you're winning in life. That's what Kai Cenat doesn't understand. So I got to hand it to him in that sense that I think it's sort of unfair that when somebody of status is going through something, everybody throws it in their face. At the same time, I think Kai needs to read the room in this situation and get off the internet. Drake said this on his recent stream, and it's so true. He said, when you're doing music or content or anything like that, if there comes a point where you're not having fun with it, whenever the point comes that you're not having fun with it, you need to stop. You don't need to be doing it anymore. So look, Kai has made a lot of money in a very short period of time. He's climbed the ladder very quickly, and maybe it hasn't been what he expected it to be, and obviously he's going through a lot of different things that come with that all at once. That being said, again, if you need a break though, just go take the break and be quiet. Especially when you're complaining to the wrong audience. That's why I say read the room. The people who are watching your streams, donating to you, are working at Kroger, are working at Circle K, are working at Burger King. And they're donating to you the little pennies that they have to support your live stream. These people are working their lives away, slaving their lives away, just trying to get by, just trying to stay afloat, especially in America. And you're out here balling out with their money. It's all supporters' money. They're sending in super chats from their Burger King job, their job at Subway, their job at the car wash. They're sending you money in these challenging times. And you're on the internet complaining about how hard you have it. That's why it's not landing. See, Kai, I thought, was a smarter businessman than that. I thought he was smarter. I can't remember where the saying comes from, but it's a good saying. Never pass up a good opportunity to shut up. That's what I see Kai Cenat doing right now. He's passing up a lot of good opportunities to shut up. Because the reality is when you're that rich, you don't actually have to sit there and explain yourself for anything. You can actually go and just disappear for 4 months and go to the islands and go to Jamaica and buy a villa. Get your toes sucked and have a girl feeding you grapes. You don't have to explain shit. You got fuck you money, Kai. And what good is fuck you money if you don't use it to say fuck you? You gotta use it to say fuck you. Don't use it to explain yourself. We don't want to hear how this dude who's popping is depressed about a girl. Bro, I don't give a fuck if you're depressed about a girl. There's people with real hardship out here. There's people with diseases. There's people who are struggling to pay their rent next month. And you got the world in your palm and you're crying about a bitch? About one girl? It's just corny, dude. It's just super, super corny. So at the end of the day, that's the way I see it. Read the room. If you want to vent, that's cool. That's your right to do that. But don't expect sympathy from the people who are paying your bills when they actually have problems. That's kind of what I would say to Kai Cenat. He's quitting. Somebody said he's quitting. I think he'll come back. Hey, shout out Metaphoria. Shout out the chat. I think he'll come back, but I just think that he's fumbling right now. That's all it is. You wouldn't want to be famous? No, I hear you, dude. What's to like? Well, I think there's some good parts about being famous, I would imagine, but I think being rich is obviously the better one. Dumbest stream ever. And you have the whole internet at your fingertips and you're here watching the dumbest stream ever. So Misty, what does that make you? How fucking stupid do you have to be to watch anything you don't like when you have access to the entire internet? You could be looking at like a pair of titties bouncing right now. I'm pretty, but I'm not prettier than some titties. So please, you got the whole internet and you're here watching me. You're the idiot. You're the dummy, not me. Kitty says, using mental health as a sob story like every other streamer do for years. After years of streaming, they just disappear with no explanation, pop back when they feel like it. Oh yeah, these streamers are spoiled, bro. And listen, I'm a streamer too, but I actually have to work on other jobs. So I know what it's like to work, and I've worked everywhere. I've worked in restaurants, I've worked everywhere. But I think, yeah, these dudes, they get a lot quickly, and they don't appreciate what they have. If you never had to work at a scrubbing dishes at a restaurant, how can you appreciate the fact that you never had to do it? If you have the opportunity to make money off streaming like that, you should be streaming every day. Being famous isn't as fun nowadays. Yeah, I've heard that. I've definitely heard that. Do you think Kai's garnering sympathy for some pussy? Probably. But he doesn't even have to do that. This dude can get what he needs to get. That's why I'm like, I don't understand why he's doing this. But again, I'm not hating, dude. I'm not hating on Kai. It's just an observation. There was another story that I had. I don't know if you guys saw this one. So Clavicular. Do you guys know this streamer? I gotta be honest, guys. I had never heard about this individual until this situation which just happened. So evidently this streamer named Clavicular has been being stalked by some sort of crazy guy. I think he's like a stream sniper, one of these dudes who tries to take over other people's live streams. And this dude has been stalked by this guy for quite some time now. Now this situation came to a head when Clavicular was driving in his Cybertruck, and this individual actually jumped on the dash of the car in efforts to stalk him. So I guess trying to chase him down or whatever the case may be. He jumped on Clavicular's car. And after that, Clavicular actually made the decision to run this individual over. Now, for the YouTube guidelines, there's no impact being shown. I'm not going to show somebody being hit by a car. I'm not showing that for monetization reasons. Make we are going to show the clip from inside the car, which shows nothing graphic. I want to make sure I'm finding the full video. I guess people are only showing like the 44-second clip, so we'll do that. Okay. Yeah, the dash is inside the car. I just thought that. He jumped on the windshield. I totally fucked that one up. Shout out to Robin in the chat. Okay, let's play the clip. The stalker jumped on the windshield.
Start driving with this guy. Drive.
Oh my god!
Is he dead? Hopefully.
Hopefully is crazy. This dude is like the Giga Chad of the century. This dude hits a guy. This is his reaction after running a dude over. This is like the American Psycho if he was a live streamer.
Is he dead? Hopefully.
Hopefully. And that's it, bro. This dude is crazy. So the person who was hit did not die. Just a quick update. I do believe he was injured. I want to find his exact condition, but he did not die. But this is the individual who was hit by clavicular. This guy had been stalking him for quite some time. You guys hear those dogs outside? Holy shit. You know I'm in Thailand because you hear a fucking wild pack of dogs going absolutely apeshit outside the fucking stream. So this video surfaced, just to give a little bit more context as to who Clavicular was dealing with. This was another time that he got stalked by this individual trying to snipe his stream.
I got the biggest clip tonight. Clavicular recording me. $2.2 million. I already signed my Kodak Black. I bought everyone in Miami. I'm merging. The biggest clip. Clap. You don't want to do this. Do it. Go ahead. Hey, go ahead.
Okay, so obviously a super unstable individual and a guy that you wouldn't... This dude could have had a weapon on him. We see many pictures of this guy with guns. He could have pulled something out and put it... of this guy with guns. He could have pulled something out and put it right on the windshield. We don't know what this dude is capable of, especially being so unstable. So I think this is a situation where maybe it was a little bit overkill to fully run him over with the car. However, self-defense is kind of what I would say. Because who knows what somebody's capable of in 2025 to go after somebody. So Clavicular has opened up with a statement for the first time since this happened. And his first post, by the way, was this picture, which said, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." This is insane. Showing him running over the guy. Oh my God, bro. This is a bold move. See, this makes me actually like him, though. Because I've never heard of this guy until now, but this is a bold move. That's fucking funny, bro. That's just objectively hilarious. This is what Clavicular had to say in his first statement after doing it.
So all I gotta say for now, you know, I hope everyone's okay. You know, whatever you guys think, pray for everyone's health and safety. You know what I'm saying? So, just really unfortunate what went down. You know, I don't want you guys to think that was a good outcome. It's not what you want. So just pray for everyone. You know, you don't want that kind of thing. It's just, let's just all, I wish everyone could just stream, you know, themselves and not be doing the crazy, you know, stream sniping stuff. But, you know, it is what it is. I can't really give you guys any updates beyond that because I don't know. But yeah, so just keep your prayers up for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And that's about all I can say.
I'm actually shocked that he's still streaming after this, by the way. I mean, the fact that he's still live, that kind of shows the fact that he's not worried, really. Maybe he talked to a lawyer and the lawyer said, look, you're good. So just trying to read a little bit about this here so we make sure we have the whole story. Kick banned him. Yeah, Kick banned him for sure. I'm seeing in the chat, goodbye sponsorships and brand deals. He wasn't thinking long term. I completely agree with that. I'm just trying to read. It says Clavicular claimed that he believed at least one person was armed, alleging he noticed what looked like a pistol imprint under clothing, an assertion that has not been independently verified. The controversy intensified after fellow streamer Aiden Ross reportedly contacted Clavicular, advising him to continue recording while avoiding public statements. You need to be live for this, said Aiden Ross. You need to be recording something. Soon, Clavicular's Kick channel became inaccessible, fueling speculation of a platform ban. Though no official explanation has been released, the event further contributes to a lengthy list of scandals involving the streamer, whose antics in the past included inflammatory remarks, as well as medically dubious actions. So yeah, guys, this is literally crazy. But I've also seen this coming in a way because a lot of this shit with the streamers is just getting over the top. A lot of what they're doing is over the top now. The way they want to get attention is over the top. And I feel like it's kind of a wild, wild west era right now where it's just every man for themselves. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it at the moment. So things are going to continue to escalate. And I don't know where it's going to go. But we're going to see what happens with this. Again, this kind of goes back to the topic we covered in the beginning of this stream. The standard of what you can get away with in 2025 is so much lower in the sense that you can get away with so much more. It used to be a super high standard of you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say this, you can't represent that. Now you can do whatever, apparently. Motherfuckers are out here as self-proclaimed Nazis, becoming successful, getting front page coverage. Dudes are running people over, doing kick streams. Motherfuckers are shooting each other. It's up. 2026, it's up for everybody. You can basically do whatever. So I think by 2020 standards, this guy's career will be over. But the scary part about the way the world is working now and the way the world is moving now, 2026, this might not even be seen as a big deal anymore. Because people don't really seem to care anymore. You can do anything now. You can do anything. We got Joe Rogan saying Nick Fuentes could be the president. This would have never happened 5 years ago. You could never get away with saying a third of the shit that this dude says 5 years ago. But now you can be a mainstream public figure doing all these things. So I don't know where we go from here. It kind of seems like, again, it's just the Wild West. Do whatever. As long as you get away with it, it's cool. So it's crazy, bro. But again, that's why I'm very glad that, yes, I'm a creator. Yes, I'm a streamer. But I'm also very much removed from those guys. I do my thing. And I do numbers on some of my stuff, and I try to, I do what I do. And I'm very much a creator. But there's a very distinct line in the sand between me and these guys because I refuse to cross that line. I'm not interested. And I know it's at my own expense. I know if I was doing this shit, I would be way bigger. I know it's entertaining to people. I get that. That's the thing. I know how to do it. I know how to go viral. I know how to become that guy basically overnight. If I wanted to be the next Neon, I know how to do it. But I'm not interested in doing it. Because it's this thing called a soul. Not that I'm, holier than thou. It's not like that. It just doesn't feel good right here. Right here. Something feels off. And it seems like a lot of these dudes will just do anything. And they have no feeling right here. It's just they'll do whatever. For a couple clicks, for a couple bucks. I don't relate. Because I have that feeling right here that prevents me from doing so. And again, it's not that I'm so great. It's just the way that I'm wired. Maybe they're better than me. Maybe I should lose that feeling and go make more money. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. But that's ultimately it. And yeah, consequences bring surprises. It's like martial law I'm seeing in the chat. Intent is key in life. Meta, I completely agree. Jack Dougherty needs to be investigated for his OF hustle. Does he really? Interesting. I don't know about his OF hustle. But yeah, guys, so that's ultimately it. Figured I'd hop on and react to some stuff tonight. Very strange world that we're living in now. Very, very strange world. I don't know what's going to come next. But ultimately, that's why I'm putting more effort and focus on what I can control. All I know is that I can get up every day and do the best I know how to do with my content. I can be close with my family. I can be close with my friends. And I can do my best every day to just be a little bit better than I was. I know that sounds corny. I know that sounds cliche, but it's cliche because it's facts. That's all I know. That's all we can control. So whatever you do a good job. Keep your people close, especially in these times, bro. Keep your people close. We need our people right now. Even if it's one or two people, one family member, one friend. That's going to be your army. And that's going to be your armor in an era like this. I see my family as the armor, and we hold each other close. So that's ultimately what we have to do. If you weren't Canadian, do you think you would be like them, though? That's an interesting question. No. But I think maybe it would be easier to do so. Like if I was one of the rich kids in Miami streaming, maybe I would behave differently, I would imagine, yeah. But I wouldn't behave like these guys. My Twitter handle is Cassius Morris. I don't really use it, though. Thank you, Gwyneth. I appreciate that. This guy stole my lawnmower. Of course, dude. I stole both of them. They're in the other room over there. Meta says, thankfully, YouTube still exists, watching Cass and Old World series games in black and white and loving it. Fuck yeah, Meta. I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being here, man. So yeah, guys, I don't know if there's any other stories for tonight. I just figured I'd hop on. I mean, we can take a look if there's anything. But yeah, the crazy stories, dude. The stories just keep getting crazier and crazier. Yeah. My whole feed is just Kai Cenat right now. Okay. Maybe we can take a look at this. So, I don't know if you guys saw this video of YouTube reporter Nick Shirley, who I have to actually give a big shout out. As an interviewer and reporter myself, this dude who's around my age is one of the guys who gives me the most inspiration. Every time I wake up and I see that new Nick Shirley, I'm like, fuck, I gotta go harder. I gotta go harder every day when I see Nick Shirley. Because this dude is out here putting in work. And the latest report that he just made has made splashes all across the world and even been noticed by guys like Elon Musk and Andrew Tate. So essentially, Nick Shirley exposed that in the state of Minnesota, there's a massive occupation of Somali immigrants. Now, many of these immigrants are legal, many of them are illegal. But one of the main things that these Somali immigrants are putting in place in the state of Minnesota is these daycare centers and healthcare centers. So there's multiple daycare centers that have been opened all across the state. Reportedly, housing up to 75 to 100 students per day in a daycare every single day to teach them and take care of them. However, the thing that Nick Shirley found out when he went to these daycares is that most of them are not functional whatsoever. There's no kids inside these daycares. There's no teachers inside these daycares. These are not real daycare centers or healthcare centers. They're simply money laundering schemes being used to bring in funding. Now, the main piece of this story is that not only do these centers exist, but these centers are receiving millions of dollars, millions in government funding in order for them to operate, but they're not doing anything. Some of these daycares received almost $2 million in government funding from the state of Minnesota, and they don't even exist. It's just a sign in front of a building. Now, this is shocking work being done here by a 23-year-old reporter doing more than the government is doing to address this. Let's go ahead and watch one of these clips confronting a fake daycare. Shocking stuff.
Children here in your child care?
Which child care means a lot of
Minnesota Child Care right here. It's from the state of Minnesota's website. We're just wondering where the children are.
Where the children are?
Yeah, where are the children? It says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding.
$2.66 million in funding, guys. That's a staggering number. Nobody in the building.
Children, it says you have 102 children here, and you got $2.66 million this year in funding, and $2.5 million last year. We're just wondering where the kids are.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
And where you? Which department? That is harassment.
Oh, we are from ourselves.
Yeah.
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going.
Slammed the door in his face, an American citizen after receiving over $5 million. And guys, remember, this is not for all the daycares. This is for one daycare. One daycare. $5 million. Actually, $5.1 million in funding. Absolutely disgraceful what's happening in America right now.
Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center. And look at this daycare center right here. No children inside of this daycare center. But between those buildings, over $2.6 million. And this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Learning Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am,
The woman said he's ICE? What the fuck? That's like a paid protester. Why is that woman just randomly there? How do these people even like spawn out of nowhere, like a video game?
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up!
Don't open up! Shut the fuck up. How about that?
We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million
Don't
over the
open up! It's ice!
$4 million in the last 2 years?
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in
Go
favor?
away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know where
You're
the-
not welcome here!
See, why would any American citizen support this, though? That's what I don't understand. Like, what is the rationale in support of it? What is what is there to support? Your country is being ripped off for millions of dollars. Is it just because you're trying to virtue signal and because it's immigrants, so you say it's okay? I don't understand these left-wing lunatics, and there's plenty of lunatics on the right as well, but the left-wing lunatics are special because there's no logic behind it. It's just immigrants should be able to come into our country and do whatever the fuck they want, and they're entitled to the money. Is that your logic? What is the rationale behind saying this is okay? If you want legal immigration, if you want people from Somalia to come into the country, that's a conversation we can have. That's perhaps a valid perspective if you base it in facts. You can't just say people from Somalia can come to my country and do whatever the fuck they want and get $5.1 million in government funding for a fraudulent business. How does that help your country? You know, I feel like there's a lot of self-loathing people in the United States. There's a lot of people who seem to hate themselves and they hate their country. I can't rationalize it in any other way because they're putting themselves in positions and implementing policies to actively destroy their country. If you loved your country and if you loved yourself, you would never behave this way. You would never be in support of these policies. So the concept of destroying and sabotaging your own country in the name of being good, you know, the virtue, whatever you're trying to put across, to me is sickening. It's self-loathing and it's self-hatred.
Welcome here.
Shame
on you.
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door? You ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child. You've never seen daycare.
I haven't seen anybody in there.
We're going to educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelled learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen any children here?
None, not at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like that.
See, the locals don't even know what's going on. He's like, bro, I've never seen it. He doesn't even know he's paying for this.
I've seen a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
8
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door.
Hello? Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare.
And after a few questions, the lady went silent.
Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this.
And I see people talking about Doge in the chat, by the way. This is one of the reasons I actually think the intention behind Doge was a good one. Because look at the level of waste. This is one state where we're talking tens of millions of dollars. Because think about it, the one daycare center had over $5 million in fraudulent funding. So we're talking tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in fraudulent funding, government waste in one state. In one state. Imagine the waste going on across the whole country that Doge never found. So I think, again, we can have a lot of conversations about the implementation of Doge and if they went about it right. But I don't think we can argue that we need it. Because somebody's fucking up here. And it needs to be audited, clearly. I mean, these people don't know what they're doing. They're giving money to what? To nothing. They're giving money to an imaginary daycare.
Neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which shows its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way.
List of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespassing, security, armed. This is the strangest place I've ever been to get healthcare. Just a bunch of different places. Healthcare here, healthcare right here.
Crazy.
Another healthcare company right here. There are 3 healthcare companies inside of this building right here in this room.
What does that even mean, a healthcare company in America? What does that mean, healthcare? In what sense exactly? Insurance?
7C. Now we have another Helping Hands, Home Care LLC, another healthcare company.
See, I'm Canadian, guys, so forgive me if I'm not following some of this.
Present Help right here. We're looking for the best rates of healthcare here inside this building because we have so many options. Who can we talk to about getting the best healthcare?
I don't know.
Okay,
No.
so in America, it's federal money versus state money. Okay, see? I told you guys, I'm not American.
All right. We will not get any healthcare here. David, this is one of the stranger places I've ever been. Literally, healthcare every door you go to, yet nobody will give you a rate. How much money do you think's been funneled through this building?
Every year, I would say 50 to 60 million.
And now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the owner if you're telling me to talk to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
No.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them? Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children?
This dude's a savage. I like this guy.
Are these children missing? It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location. Have a good day.
Absolute insanity, man. So crazy to see. And I really love the fact that this is a huge win for the independent reporters community, independent journalism in general, the community that I'm a part of, man. The fact that independent reporting can be shining a bigger light on government corruption than even the government's own audits, than even the people within it, I mean, is a huge win. And this, to me, is a marker of where reporting and media is going to be going in the next 5 to 10 years, even more so than it is now. But this is a big thing. And look, this is something that hits close to home for me as well. As a Canadian, we have the same issue with Indian immigrants coming in and starting fraudulent schools, fraudulent degrees. You know, fake schools, fake educators, things that don't even exist, getting government funding, going to the food bank and literally stealing all of the food from the Canadians who need the food. You can look this up. There's even food banks in Canada that have banned international students because they literally have made videos on YouTube how to get free food in Canada. They don't even need the food. They're stealing the food out of Canadians' mouths from the food bank. So this is something that's a serious issue. And again, I think all this does for all these communities coming into countries and doing this, if you want people to support immigration, this is the last thing you need to be doing. You know, there's probably tons of people now who support immigration currently who are going to change their mind because of this type of conduct, and they should change their mind. You can't come to a country and treat it as if it's owed to you. You can't come to a country and milk them of every penny that they have fraudulently and putting the citizens of that country in a worse position. You can't do it. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what the story is. And I don't care how people may perceive what I'm saying either. Facts are facts. You can't do it. So I think this is great. We need to keep exposing these fake schools, fake healthcare, fake universities, fake degrees. Imagine if I did this in another country as a Canadian. I would be thrown out so fast your head would spin. So it's completely unacceptable. So that's it, guys. Very interesting stuff. And ultimately, we're going to see what happens, bro. We're going to see what happens. But I think when I go back to Canada, I'm going to make a couple stories about this as well, about the food banks, about the fake schools. This is something that I think people need to see. And well done to Nick Shirley. I got to give credit where it's due, man. It's not often that I will shout out another reporter or YouTuber or journalist, but you got to give respect where it's due, brother. So that's it, guys. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back on live tomorrow. We got new shorts coming out, new clips, new interviews, all that good stuff. I should play another one. What's the other one? I'll play one more. I could play one more. Let me see if there is one.
Best rates of health. A list of all of the healthcare companies. Loads of them right here. We want healthcare.
No, it's okay.
Yes, we'd like to speak about getting healthcare here.
No.
Why can't I get healthcare here?
No, wait.
Warning, you are under video surveillance. No trespass. Here, LLC, another healthcare. Any healthcare?
Every year?
Yeah, so they got kicked out for harassment because they're trying to get healthcare.
I would say 50 to 60 million at least.
And finally, we were accepted into one of the daycare centers, and they actually took down information to give us a rate. However, when we left, we were then met with the police.
We received a complaint that, gentlemen matching your description, were in this building harassing the individuals who stay here.
Oh, we're checking out the rates for healthcare. Because there's 14 healthcare companies inside this building, so.
Okay.
Well, that's not what he said. He said there's 14 companies here, and he's trying to assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay.
So he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
Okay, well, if they're not fraudulent, then where's the kids? The easiest way to prove that your company is not fraudulent is by actually providing services. That's like if I go to a laundromat and there's no laundry machines inside. What am I supposed to think? It's real? It's very simple to prove that it's real. Just provide the service you're promising to provide. It shouldn't be that complicated. But now we're living in a world where an American citizen is going to have the police called on him in his own country because people who are not from that country are running a fraud business? Who comes up with this shit?
I assume because they're Somali providers, everyone here is fraudulent.
Okay. So
he's here with some kind of like propaganda.
No, we're just checking.
No, this is a area that we're allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance. Is there any other reason that you guys are here?
Well, we were checking rates.
No, he's not.
We were checking rates. We asked for rates.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm gonna have, if you guys are all good, we're gonna step outside and we can continue this conversation.
All right, let's leave. So, all right, we're getting escorted out right now. The police have arrived. We were checking out the rates, seeing what was happening.
Just leave the scammers alone and arrest these guys for asking questions, apparently.
Inside this building, no one would really speak with us. We did go inside the one daycare center, and she actually did give us rates for childcare. Much respect to that lady. What's the problem, officer?
Well, so again, we've been getting reports from multiple individuals that you guys were harassing individuals who work here. At the end of the day, this is private property, and it's one that people are allowed to ask you to leave, and it's also one the Minneapolis Police Department is allowed to enforce trespassing ordinance at this address.
Yeah.
So
as we got escorted out of this building, the Somalis filmed us as we left, and we headed over to the next building that had 22 of the same home health care providers operating from inside of the building.
Right here.
Wow, man. Hard to believe what's even happening at this point.
Okay, Tuesday, and they want to go visit the Trump. They want to blame the Trump administration. We have Democrats blaming ICE. I'm tired. My people are suffering. I'm scared for my little brother. My people are suffering, and these people just walk off. We have a governor who fucking doesn't care. How many more people are gonna freaking die? How many more people are gonna go homeless? And how many more people are gonna be trafficked in our freaking system? And these
Wow, man. Powerful stuff, dude. This is powerful stuff. I gotta admit, man, this is powerful stuff, so this is crazy, dude. And again, I'm watching this from the other side of the world like a TV show. I feel so I feel like when I watch America now, it's like America like season 5. The whole concept of America and just like what's happening out there right now. It's just crazy, dude. Because I live in such a peaceful place now, I can't relate. But I think America is the greatest country in the world. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I think that they deserve the best for their citizens. I think they deserve the best for their quality of life, period, man. I believe in the United States. And I believe that the American dream is something that can come back. I always have believed in the American dream. The American dream has been what's propelled me to try to make it in life, to try to have a career. I've always saw America as the motherland, at least for entertainment, that you go there to make it. And I believe in that still. I think they can still be the place where you go there to make it. I think you can go there to have a better life. I think all of this is true, but not in the way it's operating now. America season 5, bro. Or is it season 6? The American dream sounds so old now. I know. That's the thing. It shouldn't, dude. Like, but if you have a good thing going, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it going. Oh, man. Crazy shit. Oh, I want to show this video, but I can't show this video. I can maybe show it. I can maybe show a little bit of it. So this story blew up in Edmonton, Canada, which is actually my hometown. And this is an absolutely tragic story here. So it says a 44-year-old Edmonton man has died, leaving behind his wife and 3 children after reportedly waiting more than 8 hours at the Grey Nuns Hospital while experiencing persistent chest pain. While waiting, he allegedly reported blurred vision and had blood pressure reading of 210 and was reportedly only given Tylenol. This is a story that's come out from Edmonton, Canada. Now, the reason I tell you guys this story is because I've gone on this stream before and I've literally told people this word for word. There are times in Canada, because people think our healthcare system is so great. It's not. There are often times where people literally die before they get their ailments addressed. Whether it's waiting for specialists for months and months, whether it's waiting in the hospital to actually be seen and being taken care of, or if it's being told that you need Tylenol for a serious ailment. These 3 things are things that often occur in Canada, and I wanted to play this story because it shows that I'm not exaggerating. When people try to tell me that we have it so good back there because of free healthcare, I want to laugh in their face because they have no idea. I would rather pay for healthcare than die because I didn't get my free healthcare. Okay? If those are the options, if the option is pay to, get a specialist or something, or have it for free but you just wait and maybe die, I would rather pay. I've said this on past streams before, and I think it's worth noting again. It's almost 2026. I've moved out of Canada. I don't live there anymore. But I am still on a wait list to be seen for my stomach by a doctor, which I've never heard back from. It's been over 1.5 years. I don't even live there anymore. I'm still on a wait list to see a specialist. I could have had anything. God knows what's wrong with me. We don't know. I could have died by now. But this is what happens in Canada. We're told that we're so lucky to have the greatest free healthcare in the world and we should shut up and appreciate it. Well, I'm not going to shut up and die. If these are the options, I'm going to get loud about it. So this is, again, I can't show the full video because they show the man. But we're going to listen to what she says here.
By 12:15, 12:20, he was sitting in the triage from 12:20 onward till about, I would say, 8:50 on, till about 8:50 in the night. He was sitting in the triage complaining of constant chest pain. His BP constantly kept on rising with the last recorded blood pressure of 210. He was taken inside. He was only prescribed Tylenol during the entire waiting time that he was outside. And he was not given help. They said that chest pain is not considered acute problem. They do not suspect a cardiac arrest. When he came inside, he was asked to sit down. He got up for a fraction of seconds and he collapsed. He fainted and the nurse was heard saying that I do not feel a pulse. So basically, the hospital administration, the employees of Grey Nuns Hospital have basically killed my husband, Prashant Shrikumar.
And she's standing over his body as she says this, guys. Again, I can't show this on YouTube. She is standing over his body, addressing the doctors that they have done nothing. And I want to make this abundantly clear. This is not a unique situation. There's a running joke in Canada that we don't want to go to the doctor because they're just going to tell us to take Tylenol and ask us if we've been drinking water. The amount of times I've tried to see a doctor for something in Canada and they tell me this, is staggering, and they just do nothing. I don't even trust doctors anymore because they don't do anything. They just tell you bullshit, and if you're gonna die in front of them, then they might just let you.
By not providing him timely medical help. And the security was so rude that instead of addressing the cause, they said, ma'am, you are being very...
Yeah, the medical options in Thailand are good, so I'm checking that out.
So basically, it is okay for them to kill a human being and to tell the wife that you are being rude. Thank you. This is my statement, and I would want this to be taken to the court.
Well, I greatly admire her courage to be able to speak up to the hospital, and that spineless doctor standing there should be absolutely ashamed of himself. It's just so sickening. I'm seeing in the chat, in America, even if you don't have insurance, you're still treated. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be treated and pay for it eventually. Yeah, this doctor on the left just having no reaction, I mean, absolutely disgusting. But this is one of the many reasons, guys, when people ask me, Cassius, why did you leave Canada? This is why. You can't even feel safe when it comes to medical care in the country with the greatest free healthcare in the world because you're probably not going to get your symptoms addressed. And it's a really, really bad situation out there. On top of the incompetence, on top of the poor systems, the healthcare industry is also being crushed by the immigration. We have hundreds of thousands of new people being funneled into the country every single year, and we don't have the resources for it. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the capacity on the roads even. The traffic is getting so much worse. We don't have the space for these people. For anybody. It's not just a certain specific people. We don't have the space for this number of people. The healthcare system is not equipped to deal with this number of people. There's no hospital beds. We're not equipped. But the poor leadership of this country keeps funneling in immigrants every single year, giving them more incentives, by the way, than the actual Canadians who live in the country. More perks, more support, while Canadians sit there and suffer in silence and die a slow death. The country is bleeding out and nobody's talking about it because it's not proper to talk about it, or it's not popular to talk about it, or it's not polite to talk about it. But it's polite to quietly sit there and die. You know, I remember the Pink Floyd quote, "Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way." I'm starting to think that's the Canadian way now, not the English way. Because Canadians are hanging on in quiet desperation as their country is being destroyed. It's a nightmarish scenario. And it's very, very serious. So I'm glad that we get to at least push the narrative with facts. People can hear me sit and talk about this stuff as if it's anecdotes and it's maybe not even true. But when you can see this, it really puts things into context a little bit. Yes, it's happening in America as well, Leon, 100%. It's happening in America as well. It's just different because in America, it's a lot of illegal immigration, and in Canada, it's legal immigration that's destroying the country. Philly says, where in Canada? This was in Edmonton, Canada. Place I was born. It's crazy. So yeah, guys, this was one hell of a stream tonight. I feel like we're covering all the crazy shit that's happening. And look at this comment here from this woman. I'll make sure you guys can see it. Even this comment on Instagram says, I was there. He begged for help and they told him to go sit down and wait every time he approached the desk. He was on the floor asking time and time again. And they said he needs to get away from the area for the other patient's privacy as they were checked in. He was pacing and dry heaving while tapping his chest, clearly in distress. I never want to see the inside of that ER again. I know what I saw. Unbelievable. Well, rest in peace to this gentleman. It's a shame that he had to go like this. But hopefully a tragedy, there's no silver lining in a tragedy, but hopefully the outcome of this tragedy can be some sort of reform, can be some sort of change, can be some sort of justice for this dude. I remember my friend told me he went to the hospital and he felt like he was going to die. And he asked them in Edmonton, he said, do I have to fall on the floor to be taken in? And they said, yes. They said, if you fall on the floor and have a seizure, we might take you in. See in the chat, in the state of Minnesota, there's illegal Somalian people running daycares that don't have children in healthcare. I know, that's what we just showed, Leon. Maybe you joined a little bit later, but we just finished showing those videos. Very, very distressing. So yeah, guys, we're going to put the piece... Oh, what does this say really quick? I hate to keep ending it and then keeping on going. Canada is no longer the leading choice for new Indian students, as stricter study permits rules and fewer approvals are pushing many to choose Australia, the UK, and various European countries instead. Interesting. Interesting. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe, guys. Go check out the other content. And let me know what you thought about each story down below in the comments. Big love, everybody. Happy New Year.